And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to the continuation of the quarterfinals here in StarCraft Evolution League number 5. We have a fresh best of 3. As for some updates, it does sound like 3 Point versus Ateshi has already begun in the quarterfinals as well. They are in game 1. Same can be said with Satoru and Rebellion. They're also in game 1 as well. So they're already mid-series. We have a fresh best of 3. As a reminder, for some context, the winner of this series faces off against Boanan in the next round. Oh boy. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the StarCraft 2 Terran player representing Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the other South Korean Terran player, the Brood War Terran representing Streamer Zone. It is QuanTa. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. These two face off many times here in these online tournaments. HonMonO and QuanTa, they're some of the more active South Korean Terran players, especially in StarCraft Evolution. They're here week after week after week. There is a bit of a rivalry going on between the two of them. And the last time they faced, HonMonO took the series. HonMonO did take down QuanTa previously. Will he do it again, or will QuanTa get his revenge? Here we go. As for now, QuanTa's embracing that Brood War Terran. And something that I do appreciate here in StarCraft Evolution is just seeing the differences between the two races whenever it's a mirror matchup like this, because technically it's not really a mirror matchup. It's always fun to see the differences between them and how they do interact with each other. I mean, in a way, we just saw that in the PvP, but I mean, not really. It was just Cannon Rush versus Protoss instead. I mean, Boanan, he was just insane. He was the GOAT. Crazy. For now, though, we do have a double gas opener. Double gas here at HonMonO. Likewise, we do have a QuanTa opening up with a more economic Rax expand. So, faster CC here by our red Terran player. HonMonO instead going for a faster factory. With this, he can go into, say, Reactor Reaper Hellion. He can go for an add-on swap into Cyclone production. He can go for like a pseudo mine drop opener. I'm curious what direction HonMonO takes us in. Meanwhile, QuanTa is going to be the defender. Again, economic opener into Marines, safety bunker on the low ground. Reaper has arrived, going to be dancing with the Marines as well, but the Marines, they hold their own, they force the Reaper back, and the bunker will complete. It's still halfway there. It's still on the way. The Reaper could regen some HP and try to dip back in. Meanwhile, HonMonO doesn't go for the add-on swap. He's going Reactor Reaper Hellion. Is going to be the aggressor initially. Again, ideally, HonMonO, he wants to try to bypass the bunker, get into a mineral line, and wreak havoc. Another important thing when it comes to differences between Brood War and SC2 is that the red Terran player here doesn't have a wall. As opposed to StarCraft 2, back in Brood War, depots, they could not be raised and lifted. Or raised and lowered, I should say. So we have potential for a run by. HonMonO for now, massing up his army. Did lose one of his Reapers. Vulture has arrived to gain map control. HonMonO bypassing the main army, or bypassing the Vulture. Does move out. As HonMonO moves out, Vulture moves in. Can we delay the CC? Oh, we can. Yeah, the SCV is barely going to go down in time. Does cause a delay. Meanwhile, Reactor to Cyclone production. A second SCV is going to fall, a third SCV as well at the same time. We do see it dive into the main, as we did mention. Hellions, they just run past the bunker. They get on top of the Marines. Marines are going down. And they're going to be able to clean this up, but the Vulture comes out just in time. Wraith as well. And QuanTa will clean this up and doesn't lose a single SCV. Does defend in time. Meanwhile, across the map, Vulture goes in for a scout, spots the Cyclones, and got 4 SCV kills and a big delay in the expansion. So very nice economic damage here by QuanTa, but can he survive the follow-up? The next step here, as HonMonO, he's not just making 2 Cyclones, he's got more behind this. Reactor Cyclone production is continuing, Raven's on the way as well, QuanTa moving in with his Wraith. There is no cloak, bear that in mind, these are just going to be vanilla Wraiths, going into the mineral line, going for the natural, sorry, the main. Oh, the repair. True. I mean, the ground attack here is so low that you can just repair the SCVs. Oh my god. The rate goes down. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but true. Like, especially a single Wraith just doesn't really have much DPS, so a little bit awkward there, a little bit. First Wraith does fall. Yo, repair's crazy. With that, HonMonO, he defends. Meanwhile, ooh, does catch another Wraith. Ooh, second Wraith goes down. I mean, after the first one, HonMonO, he was tipped off to be ready, to be aware, to be in position. HonMonO, he has gained map control. Shuts down 2 Wraiths, and just like that, the initial opener, or at least the aggression of QuanTa, has been denied. Behind this, trying to get into tank production. Third CC's on the way. There's one more Wraith out on the map. But on its own, as we saw, it can't really even threaten a mineral line as long as HonMonO can repair. Meanwhile, HonMonO pushing out. How many tanks do we have to defend? We have 1 tank on the high ground, 1 tank on the low ground. We have a bunker as well. 2 tanks. Can we hold on as HonMonO? He has disable. He can disable the tanks. Thinks better of it. Pulls away for now. Wraith has arrived. Gets 1 SCV. Let's go. Gets 1. Up. Boys are being pulled to repair. So we'll just... Oh, almost gets 2. Up. Yeah, there we go. The gas guys are working against the SCV there, as it couldn't be repaired when it was inside the gas geyser. In the end, the Wraith is forced back. HonMonO, he defends. Whew. And of course, we are embracing mech. Strap yourselves in, everyone. There's a reason why I was a little bit tentative about jumping on this series, because I saw QuanTa and HonMonO and I was like, yo, they're prone to meching it up. And it's going to be StarCraft 2 mech versus Brood War mech. Now, of course, getting there is a little bit different. Even though QuanTa got more economic damage done early on, HonMonO does have map control. He's getting his 3rd base on location. He, of course, is containing his opponent as well. And again, the investment into the Wraiths wasn't necessarily the best one here from QuanTa. That was still being annoying. Could get another SCV. Let's go. Eventually, we'll get there. Well, oh, gets 1. It's like, yo, you think sentries took units? Nah, man, you ain't seen a Wraith, man. You ain't seen it before. Let's go. Meanwhile, QuanTa, of course, embracing his mech upgrades, going into spider mines, going vulture tank. Getting into additional Wraith production for air control, of course. Likewise, HonMonO doing something similar. Initially going mass cyclone, but now going into tank production, and eventually into his own Vikings as well, I'm sure. Vulture just confirmed the 3rd base. Ooh, Mass Raven into the main. Auto turrets have been placed. SCVs are going to be going down. It's going to be 4 SCV kills. Delay in the factory. That's a lot of tanks. Jesus. That's 9 tanks to the 4 of HonMonO. So QuanTa is now going to be expanding. Now, when it comes to like anti-air, we have seen, of course, the power of the Raven, and I'm still waiting to see what the solution to that problem is going to be for QuanTa. Is QuanTa going to go into Goliath production? Is he going to go into Valkyries? Is he going to go into more Wraiths? As you can imagine, these Ravens have a lot of potential when it comes to their disables, their auto turrets. They can gain a lot of value over the course of this game. If this was a regular TvT, I'd assume just Vikings, right? But we'll see. See how QuanTa does approach it. For now, just maintaining map control. Throws down a field of spider mines. Spider mines are set. HonMonO is still just defending on 3 bases, getting a 4th, getting a 5th, double expanding, triple expanding. And with the help of the Ravens, all these spider mines are being cleaned up. They don't gain any value, not yet. Power of the Raven. Cleaning everything up. HonMonO does start to move out. Again, that's a pretty terrifying army. Is down in the tank count, but again, the Ravens make up for that. QuanTa getting in position. He has reinvested and he's going double Wraith production. So that's going to be his solution, his anti-air. He's got 4 Wraiths so far. Oof. Does beat out some of those vultures. HonMonO rotating in towards the left-hand side. Sieging up. Race gets hunted down by the Cyclones. Race are forced back. They don't quite get a Raven. Vultures has getting thrown down. HonMonO pushing forward. He can disable all these tanks. He can and he will. All the tanks are disabled. He'll clean everything up. And QuanTa just doesn't really have an answer to this. Again, there are Vikings to support, so there's still Cyclones on the ground. QuanTa has been able to establish a third and a fourth, but well, even catching reinforcements. Okay, not bad. Gets a couple of Hellions. Ooh. But gets caught out. And from here, HonMonO is snowballing out of control. He just has too many tanks, too many Ravens. Has maintained air control. And QuanTa just hasn't really been able to do much about it. HonMonO just gained so much momentum early on. But now he does pull away. I mean, HonMonO, he is running out of energy on those Ravens, so he has to stock back up. QuanTa likewise building up as well. Rebuilding his siege lines. HonMonO getting into Hurricane engines. Back into Cyclone. And again, really HonMonO is just going to chill, just going to wait until they can just gather up more energy. Just build up more energy on those Ravens. And then he can take another decisive fight. And then take it. Yeah, more Ravens on the way. Let's go. It looks like some Goliath production has begun. Ooh, QuanTa getting a little bit supply blocked. But it's going Wraith Goliath. At least attempting to. But again, I don't know how useful the Goliaths are really going to be, considering just how many tanks there are now for HonMonO. He's maxed. He is maxed out. He has a terrifying army. And it's time. It's time to push out. QuanTa gonna try and make a final stand, but we have the mass disables. Yeah, the tanks are gonna be annihilated. QuanTa a little bit late to respond to the rotation as well. A lot of tanks caught in the back line. And it's just a slow, methodical end here for QuanTa as HonMonO is slowly pushing forward. He still maintains the supply lead. Disables all the tanks once again. Disables everything. Ay, ay, ay. And again, these Ravens, they were never really threatened. At no point in this game was there really much anti-air to do much about them. There was, what, like 4 Wraiths at most. Lies are doing what they can. Boys are being pulled. But the trades are brutal. 14 SCVs go down. HonMonO, he is running out of energy though. No more disables, true. QuanTa, he's holding. He's surviving. HonMonO going for a counterattack, catching out more of these tanks. Likewise, QuanTa can't really dive on this army. Not with this tank force, not like this. HonMonO just throwing down more starports, more Ravens. I mean, you know, your typical, even SE2 TvT, mass Raven, papi. That's what it's always been about. At least in the late game. We're even here against Brood War Terran as well. Oof. HonMonO did run into the spider mines, so he does take some extra damage. QuanTa pushing right down mid. He's going for it back. So nothing in for QuanTa. Meanwhile, the Master Sable. Oh my god. Almost every tank gets caught out. There's I think 1 tank siege, maybe? Oh my god, and the cleanup is insane. All the tanks go down. HonMonO, he dominates the fight. He's up on bases as well, getting a 5th. And what's brutal about what just happened is the Ravens survived. Most of the Ravens did survive. So they can just regenerate their energy and do that once again. QuanTa taking a fight here, though. It looks like he will be able to take it. Siege is up in time, forces back the Ravens. HonMonO being a little bit cavalier with these Ravens as well. Loses the Viking. 2 Vikings, a Raven as well. Not bad. It's something. QuanTa getting the first shot off, but not quite within range. Doesn't quite have the vision. HonMonO going for the repairs, the mules. Doesn't have a planetary as his 4th. Bold move. Is an orbital. Could be abused. QuanTa is thinking about it. Building out more tanks. I mean, it's been impressive that QuanTa's been able to survive like this, like despite a lot of these fights going HonMonO's way. QuanTa, he's holding his own. Hasn't been able to really threaten any of HonMonO's bases, like he's been stuck defending for the most part. And the Ravens, they're ready again. They're ready once again for another move out. Does catch 3, soon to be 4 tanks. Getting in position to deny the expansion. I mean, that is the win condition here for HonMonO. Is deny the CC. Got all the scans. You see QuanTa's trying to catch reinforcements with all these vultures. Does rush past, getting into a mineral line. SCVs are going down. This does distract all the Ravens. Not bad. Oh. Do I want to look at how many Ravens there are? Do I want to? 24. Jesus. 24 Ravens. 1 Raven for each tank that QuanTa has. Jesus. It's a lot of Ravens. Oh my god. Oh, QuanTa does push down the ramp, loses a big chunk of his army in the process. That's what, 4 tanks going down. Here comes the Master Sable. Auto turrets as well. And HonMonO, he will take another fight. Yeah, QuanTa was brutal, just going down the ramp into a tank line. GG gets called, and HonMonO will take game number 1. GG. HonMonO will take the first game. Again, there was never really an answer to the problem that was the Raven there. We spoke about, you know, maybe earlier on, going to Valkyries, going into earlier Wraith production. You could also argue as well that it was just a really rough start for QuanTa. If you remember, he lost, what was it, 2-3 Ravens at the start of the, sorry, 2-3 Wraiths at the start of the game. And as a result, that did kind of hinder his own anti-air, his own harassment potential as well. So a rough start for QuanTa, and that snowballed out of control, with HonMonO taking air control away from him and maintaining it for the rest of the game. And with that, HonMonO takes the lead, and we'll see what game 2 has in store for us. We shall see. Alright, getting into our next game. Ravens are broke. I mean, if you're it's a similar dynamic in SC2 TvT. The difference is though that instead it's like Viking Raven, right, where it's all about air Terran. We have like Viking Raven versus Viking Raven as well. Here though, one race doesn't have the Raven, so it's a little bit different in how they do engage with each other. here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Polypoid, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Hyper 1, leading the series 1-0. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran representing Streamer Zone. It is QuanTa. Yes, as is being said in the chat, I do think that a science vessel would have also been another kind of way to help deal with them. It wouldn't necessarily solve the issue, but basically you'd have this kind of like dance between the spellcasters, where you'd have the science vessels looking for an EMP, likewise Ravens trying to avoid that. I think that still favors the SC2 Terran player though, just because, as I was kind of alluding to before, the Raven Viking composition I feel like is a little bit more robust than the Science Vessel Wraith or Science Vessel Valkyrie composition when it comes to fighting for air control specifically. But at the same time, like as is being said in the chat, I mean, you know, with Goliath's support or with some other kind of composition as well, like maybe it can still work out. We'll see if we end up in that dynamic once again as we are loading into a 4-player spawn map. Okay. Let's calm things down. Also, bear in mind, HonMonO is now the Brood War Terran. So now HonMonO is embracing Brood War Terran, QuanTa is embracing SC2 Terran instead, and we'll see if we see mech versus mech or something very different as HonMonO is opening up 2 racks. Okay. Did I say my apologies? It's going to be a 3 racks opener here. So HonMonO is playing Bio. He's going to be playing Bio instead. He's going for an early Bio-based composition, an earlier Bio push. Did go racks expand into his 3 racks opener. HonMonO has yet to SCV scout, so HonMonO is going to be in the dark as to where his opponent is. We'll see how they do kind of how to engage and whether or not QuanTa is able to get a read on what's going on. As QuanTa, ooh, he's scouting towards the bottom left. So he's going counterclockwise. We'll be going bottom left into bottom right into top right. So it is going to be a bit of a later scout for QuanTa with that Reaper. Meanwhile, you see HonMonO rushing into Stim. Academy's on the way. Again, that's going to be for the Stim upgrade for that 3 racks. Here we go. QuanTa is moving up for that scout. Meanwhile, back at home, he is going for a 1-1-1 opener instead. Interesting. Going for the add-on swap into Hellion production. So reacted Hellion, SCV does arrive. HonMonO, he immediately scouts his opponent. He is aware. Ooh, and will even delay the CC. It's brutal. HonMonO, he will force down a second SCV. QuanTa, meanwhile, does get eyes on the expansion, on the Marines. Reaper goes down. Nice pick off here by HonMonO. Ooh. That's a kill in the SCV. And he throws down the cheese. Not like this. HonMonO throws down the cheese, gets the SCV kill, building up his Marines. Stim is about to finish up, and HonMonO should soon be pulling the trigger. Should soon be moving out. Meanwhile, QuanTa back at home, throwing down his bunker. His Hellions aren't being active to slow down the army. Ideally, the Hellions will be able to get some shots off and maybe force a Stim. They do now engage. Oh, there's our first Stim. Ooh, they take down the first Hellion, but nice Hellion volleys. QuanTa, he holds. Oh, the spread! Oh my god. Whew. See HonMonO setting up the concave. QuanTa doesn't take the bait. He backs up. Pulls away in time. Whew. And both armies do bounce off each other. Meanwhile, QuanTa, do you see what I see? That is a fusion core. Hello. QuanTa rushing into BCs. The tech lab about to finish up. Fusion core is on the way. Hellions, they do bust in. The bunker isn't ready. Oh my god. The bunker is barely not ready. Marines are going down. The SCVs are being roasted. Yeah, massive Hellion shots going off. So many SCVs going down. It's going to be 6, 7, 8 SCV kills. Hellions are finally cleaned up, but that is brutal. That is critical damage. 8 worker kills. Not just that, but they took down so many Marines. Looking at the slow tab, that was what? 13 Marines going down alongside 9 SCVs. Very nice trade here for QuanTa. And what does this mean? This means that HonMonO has that much less to counterattack. despite the, 5 racks follow-up here, he barely has any Marines, and the Hellions, they are here to keep things going. They bust into the mineral line once again for a second time. This time there are more Marines, but they're lining up. Oh, they do somewhat line up. Alas, they don't take any hits. 3 STV kills. Not amazing this time from QuanTa. 3 STVs for 3 Hellions. Better trade for HonMonO. Meanwhile, Liberator has arrived here behind the main base, has yet to fully engage. Oh, the skin reveals! Yeah, massive skin into the main base. The mech is confirmed, the BC production as well. HonMonO knows, and HonMonO should be setting up back at home with some towers. He already has one. Turret here in the main. Marines getting in position. And we'll see what this first BC can get done. Hellions moving out for a 3rd time. At this point, though, HonMonO, he has plenty of bio to defend. He should be fine. Should be able to secure himself. 3rd CC's on the way. Science vessel as well. Sorry, science facility. For the science vessel, I would imagine. Scans the natural. QuanTa going for a ninja. Oh my god. Also scouting for ninja bases as well. Making sure that HonMonO, he hasn't pulled a fast one over on him. First BC has arrived. Drifting into the main. Gets an SCV. Kill, not a cancel on that turret. Marines, they do sim in. And it looks like we're going to be able to keep the Academy alive a little bit longer here, but it takes a lot of hits, a lot of damage. HonMonO goes off, takes down the Wraith. BC is getting quite low. QuanTa doesn't lose anything. So a nice trade. He gets 3 Marines, a Wraith, and an SCV. Second BC has arrived. Likewise, QuanTa in position to scout any kind of move outs, going into his own Blue Flame Hellions, tank production as well. A very different approach here from QuanTa, where HonMonO went into Raven production, QuanTa, of course, embracing BCs instead. 3rd CC is spotted. To get the hell out of there. Ooh. Not far enough though. 2 Hellions go down. BC back into the main. He wants that Academy. Lockdown is being researched. We see HonMonO going into Ghost production. Let's go. The lockdown is ready. So basically, HonMonO, he has his own disable. His own version of Interference Matrix. Meanwhile, Hellions, they bust into mineral line. HonMonO out of position. Oof. More SCVs are going down. HonMonO getting pulled apart. And he has to respond. Tank has arrived as well. 8 SCV kills. Well, there go the lockdowns. And can he snipe the first BC? It looks like he can. Oh my, lockdown, it lasts so long. It's like double the duration of disable, Bobby. Look how long it lasts. Crazy. And there we go. Both BCs go down. At the same time, oh my god, they roast up the Marines! The Blue Flame! Gee, calm down. The Marines get roasted. Alongside 12 SCVs. Meanwhile, no anti-air. The Wraith going ham. BC does teleport in. The Hellions overextend. Once again, they go ham on the Marines. Another lockdown here on the tank and the BC as well. The lockdown on the Hellion. And HonMonO, he's going to be able to hold on. He shuts down the tank. Catches the tank, gets a 3rd BC as well. Another lockdown here on another tank. But the Hellion reinforcements, are they going to be enough? They're taking down the Ghost. Oh my god, the Ghost is so fragile. I'm not used to it. Yeah, the Brutal Ghosts are so much more fragile compared to the SC2 ones. They go down real quick. And the BC survives. Battlecruiser does survive. He wants the Ghost. Oh my god. Gets another. Runs past. GG gets called. This just too much. And QuanTa We'll tie up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. The lockdown was good, but not good enough. Again, I was just so shocked to see how fragile those Brood Ghosts are. How quickly they fell to the Blue Flame Hellions. It wasn't just the Marines getting roasted, it was the Ghosts as well. GG. And with that, we're going all the way to Game 3. But it isn't just the duration of the lockdown. Winding it back, something that, if you haven't seen this in SC Evo, but the duration of Brood War spells in general, I'm referring to lockdowns, I'm referring to the defense matrix, I'm referring to even the Zerg spells, like the Dark Swarm, or what's the other one that I'm thinking of? Not Fungal Growth, and Snare, that's it, and Snare as well. The duration is crazy on some of those Brood War spells. Like, as an SC2 player, I'm envious. It's like, oh my god, why can't we get this? It's crazy. In comparison to its SC2 counterpart, I should say. But here we go. We're going all the way to game number 3. And we'll see how this story ends. It could go either way. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have the StarCraft 2 Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the brutal Terran. It is QuanTa, the Stream Wizard. We go. Our brutal Ghost light here. I would want to know that as well, actually. Hold on, I'm trying to find that. But yeah, I'm curious if that is the case, as we do see HonMonO opening up with a fake proxy Rax. Let's go. SCV Scout comes in. It is a double gas opener out of HonMonO, but the Rax is thrown down in the natural, not across the map. So HonMonO is going to try to force an overreaction from his opponent. Yes. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, that explains it. That does explain why they were dying so quickly to the Blue Flame Hellions. So thank you so much, Hyper One, and shout out to the link to the Wikipedia page of the SC Evo Ghost in the chat. But it looks like they are categorized as light units. Meanwhile, QuanTa still has the SCV across the map. Is going to be opening up 2 racks. Ooh, going for a delayed CC, going for additional marine production instead. You can see QuanTa, he's looking for the proxy, he's scouting, he's checking. We know that there is none, but he himself is not yet secure, not yet aware. Meanwhile, because it was a double gas opener, it's going to be racks into factory, into a delayed CC, but it should not be a one base all in. There we go. You see HonMonO getting ready for that expansion, for that natural base. So this is a pretty standard, or I say standard, very safe opener by HonMonO, by delaying the command center. And the SCV should be able to confirm. Should be able to. Meanwhile, QuanTa building up, still no expansion in sight, rushing into Stim, and it looks like it's going to be a one base all in from QuanTa, as he has not actually checked the low ground yet. He's still looking, he's still scouting. He's still looking for the proxy, and he will now confirm that there's the CC. There's a CC in production. There's the factory, there's the racks, bunker on the way as well, of course. And now QuanTa's in a really awkward position. Again, this was all designed to defend against an all-in, and now he has to attack. Now he has to be the aggressor himself. He's moving out. He's got 2 medics. He has Stim, but there's going to be a bunker. Can he break through it? Can he break it down? Likewise, 2 Cyclones are out as well. They have a lot of kiting potential. QuanTa is expanding behind this, but he invested so much into this army. And can he trade? You can try to bait the lock-ons on the medics, but And now there's 3 Cyclones, soon to be 4. And I don't see QuanTa breaking this at all. I don't see that happening. QuanTa, oh god. He thinks about it. Did stim. But yeah, he has to pull away. Oof, leads out a Marine. Scan into the main does likewise reveal the setup. Third CC's on the way. So QuanTa double expanding. I mean, it makes sense. QuanTa is behind, so to catch up, he's going for the double expand. He's trying to set up his own third CC. We'll see if he can. See if he can. As we do see HonMonO moving out to punish. Behind this, just going mass Cyclone into Raven. Lock-ons pop off. Ooh, and QuanTa just cannot compare to this army. He's gonna lose everything. He has to get the hell out of here. Bleeding out too many Marines. Behind this, there's no tank production. The factory was heavily delayed because of the 2-racks opener. And here comes HonMonO looking to knock down that front door. The bunker will help. But HonMonO has a terrifying army. Pushing in, he has an auto turret as well. Bear that in mind. Didn't resource disable. Forces out a stim. Force out a stim. HonMonO pulling away. The upper one. We didn't get raided today. Not yet. Not yet. No rage, man. No rage. We get a decent amount of viewership for this tournament usually. It's okay. Hey, shout out to everyone that did tune in today. We are competing with Epic Land. So you know, if you want to help support the UK StarCraft scene, then I do recommend opening up some tabs. Multi-twitch it up. But thank you for those that are tuning in. I think for the last StarCraft Evolutions though, I think we clashed with I keep wanting to say like the Basilisk Brawl. No, the Big Rain Bouts, that's it. I feel like usually the Big Rain Bouts clashes with this event, right? Am I crazy? I could be mistaken there. Okay, it's yesterday. Okay. Friday. I see. It's the other one. Meanwhile, QuanTa, I mean, HonMonO backed off. He didn't push in. He didn't try to break the natural. He backs off from here. QuanTa establishing his third. Getting up and running. The tanks have arrived. QuanTa, he's stabilizing. I was a little bit concerned that he wasn't going to be able to take advantage of that third base, but no, it's up. Likewise, so is HonMonO. Settling in, it's going to be mech versus bio tank. So a very different dynamic this time. And speaking of mech, it is going to be battle mech out of HonMonO instead. HonMonO looking for that third. Sorry, looking for the fourth even. There is no expansion. No way in either. Well, that's HonMonO. We saw how well these Ravens can pop off here against Brood War Terran, and he's embracing them once again. And it looks like he is within range of at least the Gas Geyser. Kind of an awkward attack position, but yeah, got some damage off. Doesn't really achieve too much. Rotates around. Likewise, QuanTa fortifying himself. I mean, because of the bio composition, now there is that much more anti-air, but anti-armor missile does connect. QuanTa has to back off. HonMonO's getting map control from here. He can expand. He can take a third. Sorry, he can take a fourth. Take a fifth base. Go for the gold. HonMonO has potential. This blue flame is done. And on the one hand, it is an impressive siege line, but that's what the Ravens are for. Ravens are here to knock down that front wall, to break through the siege line. Heli volleys going up. Oof. Marines do go down. Gonna try and trade, but yeah, the Hellions, they break through most of the Marines. Half of them do fall. And without the Marines, there's nothing to support the tanks. And that's where Ravens can... that's where they can shine. HonMonO is still looking for the 4th base. Tanks are here, though. This time there are tanks to siege up. Let's get within range of the gas geyser. Tanks are now within range.
Game pause.
And it looks like we have... oh. I was going to say it looks like we have a little bit of latency, but no, it looks like there's a bug as well. Oh, no. Oh, potentially. If anyone can read some Hangul, some Korean, let us know what they did say. Shout out to Hyper1 in the chat. Things medic skills are like, oh, I see. He was like, the hell just happened? Are you referring to the optic flare? As QuanTa does hold. He's like, what the hell was that? Bro, yeah. It's like, man, your game is bugged. The medics, they blinded my Ravens. It's like, no, that's intentional. Oh, okay. It's all good. HonMonO backs off. That's the only one you can cast offensively, yeah. I actually heard the sound effect, and I was perplexed as well, because I've never heard the optic flare used before. I think this is the first time we've seen it used in StarCraft Evolution, like in this tournament series, I mean. QuanTa, he does get his 4th. See HonMonO rotating around towards the left-hand side. QuanTa not quite in position. And no sensor towers here, not for Brood War. HonMonO, he pushes in, catches out 3 of these tanks. 4 of these tanks even. 4 tanks go down. HonMonO pushing towards the natural. BC production has begun. That's stable in the first BC. Tanks are falling. Gets a second disable. Second disable goes off. HonMonO pushing forward. Yeah, the Bio Army taking a lot of hits. Another just the mass disable on the BCs. They just want to fight. They just want to take part. So HonMonO rotates. But once again, though, QuanTa, he maintains his economy. Still on 82 workers. He does hold. His BCs were disabled, that is true, but he's been able to maintain them. Does build them up now to 4 battle cruisers, soon to be 5. Goliath production has begun as well. And what is the answer to the Raven? Yamato Baki, let's go. QuanTa gonna be fighting for that air control. So HonMonO does rotate. This time QuanTa is keeping up. There we go. Does rotate. Sorry, I was just looking it up, but yeah, optic flare reduces the size of an enemy unit to 1. Crazy. But yeah, it's something that you often don't see. Rotating around. Getting to his own now Thor production. Thor's going to have a bit of an awkward time pushing forward and breaking through the rest of the ground-based army here for HonMonO, but more anti-air nonetheless. It's going to be all about that air control. How many BCs do we have? 6. 6 battle cruisers. Making 3 BCs at a time. Let's go. So QuanTa just transitioning into mass BC. Headaches MVP. Ravens right, vision right under them, but they have to move in all the way. Yeah, exactly. It forces them to be more vulnerable, which is actually huge. Like, it's so useful. Meanwhile, QuanTa is just getting rid of some of his supply. BCs, they do push in. Oh, the mass disables, though. The Yamatos, they don't quite go off. BCs, they get disabled. At the same time, the Bio Army does hit the natural. HonMonO out of position. He's racing back home. It brings a stim into the natural, going for the CC. Natural base is going to go down. BCs to escape. And the Marines are all going to be cleaned up. But again, QuanTa, he wanted to get rid of them. It is going to be a one-way trip, but he's replacing all these Marines with more BCs. Just a pure battle cruiser. Oof. Brutal Thor shots, though. Once again, more disables going off. Unlike Lockdown, of course, BCs, they can still fly away. They don't have to stand and fight. And because HonMonO is going to Thor and not Viking, then he can't chase them. You know, once the BCs get into the dead space, they're safe. They're safe and sound. There's nothing to chase them down. Thors, there's only so much they can do. They have to waddle back home. And we do see that HonMonO is still just going Thor Raven. Interesting. I mean, more starports are on the way, so we can try to transition out of this into a more Viking-heavy composition or his own BCs. Just building up more Thors. Likewise, QuanTa behind this, fully walling up with turrets, with tanks. BC's going for some harass. Alas, there are Thors back at home to defend. HonMonO can keep pushing. How many BCs are we up to? 12! 12 BCs! I would still love to see a science vessel alongside these, just to support, just for their own EMPs, for example. To shut down the Ravens, because these Ravens still have so much energy. How many Ravens? 11. I mean, they can disable every single BC in the next fight. There are enough Ravens. So I'm not fully convinced in the power of QuanTa's army yet. See HonMonO just harassing, throwing away some cyclones, freeing up more supply, finding his army. It is quite important here that HonMonO does throw down more starports, so whenever there's a fight, he can replenish his army as well, as quickly as possible. That's the case for both players, as both armies are maxing out. How many BCs? 12? 12 BCs. Yo, we have some control towers on the way. More starports being set up. Both armies still posturing. Missing each other as well. QuanTa pulling back. Going for a Marine run by. Does scout the main army of HonMonO. Yeah, QuanTa's aware. Does see where HonMonO is. How does he respond? He's pushing. Okay. Well, let's go. Trading a base for a base. As HonMonO pushes in, catches out 4 tanks, going for top left. CC should go down. At the same time, HonMonO, he pushes towards the gold. So yeah, trading a base for a base. HonMonO, he does second guess himself. He turns around with the Thors. Pushes with the tanks. Turns the Thors around. So HonMonO is turning back home. God, buildings actually go down so quick. Jesus. The burst damage. Ravens are coming from behind. They throw down the Massive Sable. And BCs have to just get the hell out of here. They do pull away. A couple Yamatos going off. But they're only single target. BCs do pull back. Also, that was one BC going down. Disable runs out. And finally, I'm waiting for the mass Viking transition. There we go. More starports. Finally, we need the Vikings. We need to punish this. As they just float away. Importantly as well, the CC survived because only the tanks were fighting, so the CCs are just lifted. Tanks, they do come across each other. There's the one BC popping up. Oh my god. Once again, Massive Sable. QuanTa pulls away. Safe in the dead space. HonMonO attempting to counterattack with some of his army. Again, I think he's just trying to free up supply, getting rid of tanks. As HonMonO, he just completely reset his tank count. He's down to 5 tanks. He's still making more Thors. Jesus. Oh my god. Making 4 Thors at a time. Which means QuanTa's tank army still has value, is what I'm getting at. Like, these tanks, they can still support this air army quite well. Like, the Ravens, they have a little work to do. They have to disable everything. The tanks, the BCs. How many Ravens? 15. 15 Ravens against 15 BCs and 16 tanks. Tanks are a little bit late to siege. Disable's coming in on the tanks first. Oh my god, we disable everything. We disable all the BCs and the tanks as well. Just have faith in the Raven, Bobby. Oh my god. Everything gets disabled. The tank line is cleaned up and HonMonO can keep pushing. We see HonMonO making 6 BCs at a time, but he needs time. Does need time to recover. Bearing in mind, most battle cruisers did survive that fight. They pulled away. Shots going off. One of the BCs does fall. Yeah, and here come the Vikings. Vikings able to at least punish some of the BCs. Getting on top of the gold. QuanTa did have a larger bank to work with, though. Has been able to rebuild. Bearing in mind that QuanTa still has the gold. HonMonO's was lost earlier. And these BCs have been so resilient. Like, I mean, 15 of them have fallen, sure, but... most of the time, they do survive these engagements. So QuanTa maintains his BCs, building up more tanks. HonMonO down to 8 Ravens. And his gas bank is what I'm concerned about. The gas bank here of HonMonO, it's drying up. So you can see HonMonO having a hard time remaxing. And QuanTa, he's at 200. He's already at 200 supply. And QuanTa, can he do it? Can he bounce back? Despite the awkward start to the game. Yeah, massive tank shots. SCVs are going down. 14 SCV kills. Denying the CC, more importantly, denying the gas. Denies the gas geysers. HonMonO going for the base trade. Going for a massive counterattack instead. Does find a lot of tanks, but he's out of energy. The Ravens, they've run out of energy. No more disables. Tanks are still cleaned up, though. The BCs, they turn around. Battle crews, they do turn back around. Reinforcements on the way. Oof, one of the BCs does fall. I think's better of it. Yeah, reinforcements, they slow down the push, and QuanTa, he commits to the base trade. He's going for the production. We'll lose the gold. But he's fine with that. Bearing in mind, because this is so Thor heavy as well, like even if HonMonO comes back home, the BCs, they can still just out position. They can just use the terrain. Thor's rotating around. BCs have control of the natural. HonMonO, he will take down another expansion. Another CC goes down, but again, he cannot push up this ramp. If he tries, he's going to lose so much in the process. And while QuanTa just keeps on going, GG gets called. It's just too much, and QuanTa will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. QuanTa, he will take the series, will bring it back here. Did stumble in game 1 against Mass Raven, but in game 2 and game 3, able to take it, able to take the series, able to take down HonMonO. GG. GG, well played. QuanTa will advance on into the semifinals, and he's up against his next opponent. He's in the chat as well. Boanan. Boanan has been patiently waiting for either Terran player, and he has his opponent confirmed, QuanTa. We're hopping on over to the American server for the TvP. Meanwhile, that series was so long, we missed out on the upper matches. We already have a finalist. 3 points took down Ateshi 2-0. 3 points took down Rebellion 2-0. And 3 point is waiting in the grand finals. As I mentioned before, 3 point, he is one of the favorite players to win the entire event. I was expecting a ZVP finals between 3 point and Classic, but Boanan had other plans. He had other plans. He introduced Classic to the Brood War Cannon Rush and did overwhelm and caused a massive upset. And could Boanan win the entire thing? Could he win the entire tournament? I mean, we're about to find out if he can Cannon Rush the hell out of QuanTa as well. I'm assuming that it's going to be more cannons, but we'll see. We'll see. But shout out to Boanan, of course, who was chilling in the chat, watching the Terrans face off against each other.